What a wonderful break. What a wonderful panel. What a wonderful event we're having here. Honestly, please, yeah, thank you. Honestly, really stick around till the end. I know that this is real information heavy, and thank you, Cheyenne. And it may be a little bit overwhelming, but I promise you, you're gonna look back on this in about a year or 2 years and be so thankful that you were here all the way to the end. We have surprises for you. We have people coming up that are gonna blow your mind, and we really cherish this time with you. So definitely stick around. And if you haven't had an opportunity to network or meet anyone, after I give this presentation, I really just kind of want you all to just meet somebody, approach somebody, introduce yourself. Talk about your background, talk about why you're here, figure out, why this, higher calling, brought you to this, this event and this room at this point in time. There's really some special things happening, and I want you all to stay to the end and really get the most out of what we put together here, because we really put a lot of work into it, and we really appreciate all your time here. That being said, my name is Chris Wenske. I am the co-organizer of this KC Bitcoin Summit, along with Cheyenne, and founder of something I call Jondo Media. I'm just going to read this verbatim. I'm a Kansas City-based organizer, entrepreneur, and musician with a passion for Bitcoin, community building, and creative projects. I lead local Bitcoin meetups with the KC Bitcoiners and produce large-scale events like the Kansas City Bitcoin Summit and the Kansas City Block Party, which we have done 5 times. We've done it for 4.5 years. It's an incredible market event that y'all should definitely be for the next one. We'll probably pull it off sometime spring next year. I develop innovative ideas that merge technology, education, and financial freedom. With experience in media production, marketing, and business strategy, I bring people together to collaborate, learn, and build toward the future, all while keeping music as a core part of my identity and expression. So, with that being said, my roots into Bitcoin came from being a musician. I am a songwriter, and I create music, and I produce songs that are from the heart and speak about my experiences, and that's the way I connect with people. That's my art. And in today's music industry, you put all your effort into this passion, into this art, and the way that this system is set up through distributors and aggregators and streaming platforms such as Spotify, we're not getting the value back that we put into it. So if I create a song and I put it on Spotify and someone listens to it, by law and by copyright law and by policy, I'm allotted 0.003 cents per mechanical sound streaming royalty. And that is by copyright law. So if you do the math, if I put out 300,000 streams, people listen to it 300,000 times, that's about, I don't know, $300, 3,000, something like that. Someone do the math, $300. So the value that I put in to that song costs me a good 2 to 5 to 10 grand, just putting in the production. So something is broken here. There's something that's missing, and I found this frustration with the streaming payouts, and I discovered Bitcoin. For some reason, it just kind of came my way, and I started looking at are there any local groups that are doing Bitcoin? And so I discovered the Kansas City Bitcoiners back in about 2021. And I approached them and said, hey, what is this thing? And I started learning about it. I started learning about Bitcoin, and I realized, wow, so you can give value to somebody, and there's no, there's no real intermediary that says you're only allotted this amount. And so I was thinking man, we should do something about this. We should do maybe an event where we have artists and where we have musicians and we can get paid in Bitcoin. Also, I saw this as like, wow, so if there was a streaming platform out there that we could put music out there, you know, this is a borderless way of exchanging value. So I saw real potential in Bitcoin as a real world utility. With that being said, that's kind of like what got me into Bitcoin. You know, just being a musician and seeing this value, seeing that like if I put my music out on a streaming platform, someone can give me, you know, $3 or $300 or that 30 cents or that 0.003 cents. But I'm not allotted to that just 0.003 cents. I'm not limited to that. So then it came down to, all right, well, this is really cool. I want to teach other artists about this. I want to teach merchants about this. I really want to like accumulate some Bitcoin, and it gives me this sense of purchasing power. And so I want to like go out into my world, and I want to be able to spend it, and I want to be able to use this really cool thing. So I started to look at onboarding merchants as just something that I could do for the community, I could do for the network as I learned and educated myself. And I saw that like this peer-to-peer cash system sort of drives the system, it drives the network. And so I'm seeing like how this merchant adoption, getting stores to accept Bitcoin, getting people to spend Bitcoin actually empowers, it empowers the network to survive. It also gives people the freedom to spend. And then, you know, it touches on the very core values of banking the unbanked. It gives people the empowerment to be able to create wealth. Also, something I noticed recently is if I'm at like Trader Joe's and I'm buying some eggs and they say, okay, those eggs are $3.75. Well, I take out my card and I tap on the thing, you know, we're at about 15 seconds here, tap on the thing, and it says, okay, cool. All right, communicate with the bank. And then another screen pops up and it says, all right, now you gotta plug in your PIN. And I'm like, okay, cool. 11111. That's not my PIN. Okay, I plug in my PIN. We're at another 15 seconds.
I just wrote it down.
All right, thanks, check. All right, and so we're at about 30 seconds here, and I plug in my PIN. It takes another second and it says, do you want cash back? I'm like, I mean, hell yeah, I want all the cash, but I guess at this point, no. Bing, no, okay, cool. And then it's like, all right, you want to confirm this transaction? Yeah, sure, cool. Bing. I'm like, damn, that's like 45 seconds of a transaction. And honestly, I swear to gosh, with Bitcoin, even with an on-chain transaction that confirms every 10 minutes or so, we're still creating a moment of transaction that is faster than credit cards, that's faster than taking cash out of your wallet. I mean, especially with the Lightning Network, I can just scan a QR. Sure, there's Venmo, sure, there's Cash App, but we're just talking about Bitcoin here. This is just another way of purchasing power, which has a lot more implications. And it's borderless, which is really cool. But this is a new thing that I realized is like, Bitcoin is actually faster than credit card payments. And if you don't realize that, like, the whole point of this is, you know, one of the things Jace asked this panel was, how do you drive adoption? Well, I was also having a conversation with Sean in the back, and I realized like my method is really like, you go into a shop, you go into a store, and you just say, do you accept Bitcoin? I mean, you ask anyone that. That's how you do it. You say, do you accept Bitcoin? Or you say, can I pay with Bitcoin? That's the lead-in. And so that's sort of the method that I started taking. And so, you know, you walk into the shop and you realize, oh, this cash system is incredible. It has purchasing power across borders. There's no government that can tell you when, where, or how to spend your Bitcoin, or spend your money or currency or whatever you want to call it. I think that's pretty cool. As a musician, I think that's really neat because if someone listens to my song maybe in Africa, and they think it's really cool, they can send me $1, 30 cents, $300 through Bitcoin almost instantaneously through the Lightning Network, or maybe every 10 minutes or so. I think this is like a revolutionary system that is empowering artists and creating more value for artists as a creator. And so as you're onboarding merchants, I think it's important to say that not every system is the same. Not every payment platform is the same. There's different ways that people accept payment. And so you kind of, if you're looking to onboard somebody, or say you have a store that you like paying in Bitcoin and you want to onboard that person, you have to understand that you want to work it into the existing system that they have. You don't want to just like replace it or like say, okay, you're gonna take fiat in this way, and then you're gonna take Bitcoin in this way. What empowers the Bitcoin payments is you figure out how you can work it into that system so that over time you realize, wow, this purchasing power is actually very cool. I've tested hundreds and thousands of different ways of taking Bitcoin, receiving Bitcoin, spending Bitcoin. I'm not lying. I have tried every person's service. I know it back and forth. I've broken it. I've come up with every error. And what I like is things that work. I don't like things that don't work. I'm not talking trash on anyone, but if you're creating a system and you're selling a system that doesn't work, you're just creating fancy marketing and you're creating false hope. And so what I really like is using a system that works, and I test these systems, and when it works, it's amazing. It's like magic. One of those systems that I really love is something called BTC Pay Server. BTC Pay Server is an open source, a self-sovereign way of accepting payments. And if you don't know what open source is, it's basically code that's put out that you can change and create your own. This is a new concept to me, honestly. I'm actually like still educating myself, still learning, but I love the concept of open source now. I think it's really cool. And
it's not Microsoft.
You're not Microsoft. It's not Microsoft, exactly. That's my go-to solution now, but not to say that's my only solution. For example, Vincent back there right now is taking Bitcoin payments with Strike. It just works. It's like, okay, we don't need a whole computer, digital screen, POS system. We don't need to set all that up. Use what's practical. He's got a phone, he's got an app, it's Strike, he's taking payments with Strike. It's very cool. Adam was up here, he's created a wallet called Mana. What's cool about Mana is it's non-KYC. Non-KYC is know your customer. You don't need a driver's license, you don't need a social security, you don't need the phone number, you don't need your address. You can just put it on your phone and accept payments immediately. So different situations are practical for different situations. I think that's really important to say. For me, onboarding merchants, using BTC Pay Server, it allows me to do things that I want to do in the ways that I want to do them. And I think that's really important if you're looking to onboard somebody into using Bitcoin. Don't just say, this is the solution, because it's not. It's not always going to be that solution. 5 minutes already? Holy mackerel. Okay, all right. So anyway, I consult about this. I love troubleshooting these setups. Let's talk, if you're interested in talking more about this. Lessons learned. The setup is just the start. Just like I said, not every solution is the same. But merchants need ongoing support. You can't just set them up with a system and just walk away. You have to keep coming in and using it. You have to keep coming in and testing it. It's not like a one-size-fits-all thing. It's like, does this solution work? Does it work over a certain amount of time? Does it work at a certain capacity? Does it work at a certain scale? So you have to keep following up. Go back into the shop. Ask them questions. How does it work better for you? What don't you like? What do you like? You need to keep following up, and this relationship keeps this adoption alive. It makes them feel that you're attending to what you really started with. So that's what I'm saying. These Bitcoin payments, things like this can break. Technology can break in general, so you need to maintain them. expect to troubleshoot the system as you're onboarding these merchants. A case study is, as Vincent was saying, I walked into Maps Coffee in Lenexa, and we just got talking about Bitcoin for some odd reason. I said, "Do you accept Bitcoin?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "Well, can I pay with Bitcoin?" He's like, "Well, I don't have a system for it." And so I was like, "Well, let's work on it." And so then I onboarded him to using BTC Pay Server, which is just one solution. There's hundreds. Just find the one that works for them and for you, and one that does what the creator says it does. We organize a lot of our meetups at Vincent's shop, and through the math, I figured we bring him in 10 to 25% of his daily revenue in Bitcoin at our meetups. That's really significant. That's a fourth of the money that he needs to make to survive in his shop, and we're bringing it in Bitcoin. I think that's incredible. So this real impact creates real adoption in Bitcoin. I think those are some of the steps as walking in saying, do you accept Bitcoin? And then getting them onboarded, following up, and then actually figuring out the impact in numbers and percentages of daily revenue that they need to make. And so we organize these meetups at this shop, and it's very successful. I just want to show a quick video of just kind of what we do. This is his shop, Maps. This is us. We've integrated it into the POS. This is BTC Pay Server. This is Seth. He's paying with, I think this is Mana. This is Adam's wallet. So Adam paying Liquid through another Lightning solution into Vincent's POS. Scan, Bing. It works. This is Spencer using Zeus. And he's using his home node. All right, that's probably some. And it's really cool. It works great, and like we have people, they show up, and we create these transactions, we create a vibe, and we're empowering, spending using Bitcoin. We're creating more value for the merchant using Bitcoin, and it's easy, it's fun, and it works. I think that's what's really important, is that the system works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work for me. So, moving on, Shai and I have been working on this concept for a long time. We really want to create a Bitcoin cultural hub here in Kansas City. We want to create a cafe, something inspired by the space in Denver, Bitcoin Park in Nashville, Pleb Labs in Austin. So our vision for Kansas City Bitcoin is a cafe, a venue, literally just like this, with a stage. As a musician, I want to support folk musicians coming through, but I also want to help them create more value for their art. And I really feel like Bitcoin is the way to do that. A lot of people think other things. That doesn't matter to me. I think that leading by example is really how we get ahead in this space. What we're looking for is some support. We really would love investors, grants, partnerships, funding for a space for build out, rent, renovation, operations. We're really open to all forms of support. We really looked into a lot of different types of venues or space to build into. You have a shop, you have a space that you think that this kind of concept would work, a cafe with coffee, a lounge, co-working, just like this. I love Keystone Innovation. It's Kevin McGinnis's thing. We want our thing that's Bitcoin centric, that we have the World Cup coming next year. I think it's a really good opportunity to bring some, and we were talking about jobs, job creation and innovation in technology. I think this is a really hot time, bull market type of thing, concept to work into. So that's really what we're interested in. I appreciate really everyone listening to me, and I appreciate y'all being here. If you want to get in contact with me, these are my things. You can email me at jondomedia@gmail.com. Also, please follow us on X to see all the stuff that we're up to and get more involved. We're also on Nostr. And so that's my time. And I don't think we have time for questions, do we? Damn, that went fast, man. But thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Chris. That was amazing.
Thank you, Shane.
Okay, So take a few minutes, use the restroom, wash your hands. Food is just about ready to be served, so just give them like 5-10 minutes and then make your way over, follow your nose to the barbecue right in that room.
And we'll meet back here in about 30 minutes for our next talk. The legendary Brady Swenson, co-founder of Swan, VP of Marketing, and we're really excited to have him here. So grab your grab, get your ribs, get your chopped brisket. The ribs are pork, by the way. There's brisket, chopped brisket, I think. And then we got sides, veggies.
And we've got carrot cake cupcakes.
And we got cupcakes? Oh my goodness gracious. So get your grub, get back here, and we got some really cool stuff coming up. Thank you so much.
Yay!